Get ready, America. In 7 days, Trump is bringing in the golden era. The public and private sector is coming together. Everything is transforming from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical, an old archaic banking system to a brand new banking system. There's a video floating around where a gentleman talks about Ripple and the radical transformation and the partnership with Bank of America, talks about Bitcoin as well. And it's very important to understand how many states already are pushing to get a Bitcoin treasury. Everything is changing as you know it. Now, here's what's happening within the community. There's massive separation happening, people arguing back and forth. The truth is the system is changing. That's what we need to know. So number one is you got to understand we are very, very early in the long term. In the short term, we are in the bull run. And I believe after January 20th, what's the date today? January 13th, we're going to see a nice little pullback right now, probably the beginning of this week. And I believe it's going to start to go up after January 20th, February, March, April, May, sell in May, go away, come back September. We'll have the finish of the bull run back end of 2025. And if it follows the same pattern, everything has a wave of energy, it will come back down in 2026. We have 2026, 2027, 2028, the Bitcoin halving. 6 months after, it will start to go up and we'll repeat the cycle. Now, here's the thing. We have about 6 years to get this right. Number one, you have to have a game plan. Number two is follow that game plan. Number three is be non-emotional and make sure you pull profits and diversify. So on the back end of every video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing. So this video is floating around. I wanted to go over this and do my analysis around this and what he is saying. And then we're going to talk about how much crypto Trump owns. We're going to look at a bunch of different people that are fully in on cryptocurrency as we come into this new White House, Congress, and SEC.
Shortened trading week. The Dow, you can see a little bit lower now. This is after it was up as much as 380 points earlier in the session. The S&P and the NASDAQ, though, also higher, but slightly pairing some of the gains that we had earlier in the day. Let's talk about Bitcoin. They're reclaiming $100,000, right? The first time that we've done that since December 19th. Bitcoin buyer MicroStrategy disclosing that it bought approximately 1,000 Bitcoin for $100 million in cash, bringing the total holdings to approximately 447,000 Bitcoins. Let's do this all with Sound Planning Group CEO David Strzeski. Thank you so much for joining us here in person. Do we buy Bitcoin even at $101,000?
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so the thing that we have to understand about Bitcoin is that there's only so many of them. And so 94% of all possible 21 million Bitcoins have already been mined. And do you know that there's a little over 100 years ahead of us before the last one will be mined?
Okay.
And so here's the reality. We have a supply shortage that we're not really aware of at this time. We're kind of thinking of the price of this. We're not actually thinking of the function of what it was actually intended for, because it's not super fast at transacting right now. But no, this is an absolute time to buy. We want to buy on dips.
Okay, so let's break down what he said. 94% of the supply is gone of Bitcoin, okay? Another thing to think about, 80% of the supply has not moved. So whoever these biggest holders are doing what I'm doing with my Bitcoin, is I'm holding it. I'm not touching it. Okay, very, very important. 6% is left. They're only going to mine it for another 116 years. They only mine 450 a day. So if America does the Bitcoin treasury and they start accumulating Bitcoin, if you have all these states building their own Bitcoin treasury, do you not think that countries are going to rush to start a Bitcoin treasury? Of course they're going to. America is still the dominant currency. And if America adopts a Bitcoin treasury, other countries are going to follow suit. Trump is not scared of decentralization. He's not scared of DeFi. And I'll explain that on the back end of the video around my Bitcoin. Okay. Now that's important to understand. I'm not saying you have to get into Bitcoin, but there's a supply issue with Bitcoin. There's only 21 million. There's 8 billion people.
Pop quiz. MicroStrategy owns like 2% of all Bitcoin outstanding. Is that a good play if I can't buy a Bitcoin or a Bitcoin ETF?
Yes, of course. Absolutely. I mean, in fact, if people are confused about how to even get involved with crypto, and they go, I'm just not, the most confusing parts about computers, the most confusing parts about money, I'll just buy Coinbase. That's another way to do it as well.
Fair.
And so, these are some different ways to be looking at things.
Another one you like is Ripple.
Okay, so she's going to go into Ripple, but I wanted to explain that. So there's so many different ways you can get exposure to this. For example, BlackRock before they launched the Bitcoin ETF, remember Larry Fink was saying that it's used for money laundering, but they were buying MicroStrategies. They were one of the top 3 holders in MicroStrategy. So they were going in through the back door. Warren Buffett says he thinks that, I think he's the one, or is Charlie Munger that said it, one of them too, he doesn't like Bitcoin. But go look at one of his top performing investments, Nubank, a cryptocurrency bank. They always get access through the back door. So those are ways you can get exposure on the stock side, Coinbase, MicroStrategies. Also, there's ETF strategies where you can make passive income off the volatility. There's so many different things you can do, but you have to have a solid game plan. Now he's going to talk about Ripple and Bank of America.
You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple.
Now he says Ripple, and so unfortunately they didn't mention XRP. So Ripple is the company, XRP is the token, 2 separate things. Okay, Ripple's the company that created XRP, so they call it Ripple, but they should be saying XRP.
Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them. And basically the Ripple is going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it. And there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out. So
these cynics, though, tell me, only put as much in this space as you're willing to lose. Effectively, as of now, some people say it feels like a casino.
It is.
Do you agree with that?
It's the best example I have is this. Don't not get involved with something. Do whatever you would do for a nice weekend away with your spouse.
Okay.
And instead of doing that weekend, maybe put that in crypto. Here's what.
Boom, smart advice. So I dollar cost average in every single day. So when someone says to me, I don't have money to invest, I'm like, do you go to Starbucks every day? They're like, usually they do go to some sort of coffee shop. They spend $7 to $10 a day. If someone was to take that $7 to $10, make coffee at home, maybe for 25 cents, take that gap. You're not changing your lifestyle. You're not taking any of your money. You're not risking your savings or your 401k. Don't mortgage your house. Don't get credit cards. These influencers that are telling people to go get no interest rate credit cards, please stop doing that. If you can't afford to invest in it, you need to create cash flow. That's how you get wrecked. Okay. Change your lifestyle, create a budget. Okay. Lower your debts and non-negotiables. Get down to debts and non-negotiables and create some cash flow. And instead of buying new things, put that maybe into the asset, like he's saying. Okay. So that's some exciting news. Okay. And then we're going to dive a little bit deeper here. And then I'm going to explain exactly what I'm doing here. It says Donald Trump is currently holding over 15 million in cryptocurrency. This was from Bitcoin Magazine. It said just in, U.S. Congressman Buddy Carter introduces bill to abolish the IRS and repeal income, payroll, estate, and gifts taxes. I want to hear your comments down below. Do you really think that Trump is going to remove capital gains taxes off American cryptos? That would be legendary. Okay. Bitcoin Magazine just in, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz on Bitcoin. I have a weekly buy order to take advantage of dollar cost averaging. I do it every single day. So I used to have weekly, but I buy Bitcoin and XRP every single day. I've been investing for several years, over which time Bitcoin's value has roughly tripled by dollar cost averaging. So I bought the dips in 2020, and then we went through the bull run. Then we went into the bull run, and then we went 2021, 2022, and I've been accumulating dollar cost averaging every day. And when it dips, I buy more. That strategy, you're shocked when you get to the next bull run. You're like, whoa. So that's why I say you're early. So what he was talking about, he's like, should you buy Bitcoin at 100,000? What he's stating by that, if you believe in the price appreciation, only if you believe in it and you've researched it, if you're buying XRP at $2, $2.50, you're buying the bottom, or you're buying, so that's the top now, but it's the bottom of the future, right? So I bought my first Bitcoin at 25,000. Now it's sitting at 100,000, right? So if I'm buying it at 100,000 and it shoots up to 1.5 million in the future by 2030, somewhere around there, maybe, right? I bought the, does that make sense? I bought the top is the new bottom. And so if you have a long-term horizon, you're going to do great. If you have get rich quick, you're going to get wrecked. If you can't stomach the up and then the down, because your portfolio is going to radically decrease in 2026, you should be excited about that. You hold and you accumulate. It should be a long-term strategy. Okay. Just in, Trump's treasury pick, Scott Bessent, disclosed owning up to 500,000 worth of Bitcoin. We know RFK holds, he says, most of his wealth in Bitcoin. JD Vance has almost 400,000 in cryptocurrency. We know Elon is all in on Doge, right? We got Vivek. He's creating a Bitcoin treasury. We created a Bitcoin treasury for our company, and XRP as well. We own XRP for our company. I wanted to show you this lastly. Big changes are coming from Coach JV. That'd be me. Says recent allegations of attacks against the digital. This is by Cynthia Loomis. Recent allegations and attacks against digital asset companies by staff at the FDIC, if true, are bone chilling. Operation Choke Point 2.0 is real. Everybody thought we were talking about conspiracy. This is real stuff, guys. And I will work with Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott to get to the bottom of this serious issue. Okay, let's go back. This is Scott. Oh, that's Scott Benson. Sorry, different guy. Man, I thought we had some connections there. Cool. So we know things are changing. Okay. I want to share with you exactly my plan. And I want to state something that's super awesome, by the way. What's his name? Edward Verify. So number one, he did a stitch on my video and I super honored. I love his content. But number two, I think it's important when you misstate something. So I want to explain my strategy 1000% so that people can clearly say it. Because there's clips of videos that go out and then there's things that can be mistrue, but I did state it incorrectly. So I want to state my Bitcoin. So number one, thank you, Edward, for the clarification. And number two, I'm humbled. And number three, I want to share with you exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin is my gold. I'm holding it forever. I'm not touching it. Okay. When I say that I'm going to borrow against my Bitcoin, that will never be during a bull run. Number one, it will be when the markets are stabilized. Number two, and when I borrow against it, you're getting tax free. It's just like borrowing against your stock. Okay. It's same type of thing. So what I stated was you're paying yourself back. What I meant by that, okay, to make it very clear, when I'm paying my Bitcoin back. So for example, if I pulled 2 million out for a home loan tax free, I'm talking about DeFi, right? There's no credit check. I don't have to wait to fill out paperwork with the banker. I don't have to give them my, my firstborn, you have to go through all that verification process. There's no credit check. We're talking about decentralized finance. You can quickly access your capital tax free. And I said, I'm paying myself back. What I meant by that is as I pay it back, right? Because you're getting cash out. They're giving you a loan. You're paying principal and interest. You're paying it back, right? You're the collateral. As I pay it back, my LTV increases, right? So every time I make a principal and interest payment outside of interest, the principal is going to bring that loan down and my LTV goes up. So if Bitcoin's going to continue to go like this and you're paying yourself back, you're paying the loan down, the LTV is going up, and you have an increasing asset over time. Okay. So you're able to access your assets tax free. On the insurance side, it's the same concept. So I have life insurance, cash value life insurance on this side, where I'm going to borrow from the insurance company, right? So again, I'm getting a loan from the insurance company, paying the principal and interest, right? If there's a margin, so if I'm paying 5% on the loan and I have a 7% gain that year, I'm netting 2% on my cash value. The cool thing about it is I still own that Bitcoin. That portion is locked up until I pay down that principal and interest. So first of all, thank you, Edward Verifies, for clarifying that. And then he also said too, you have to have a plan. That's why I share my plan 100% time. I'm extremely strict on my plan. Extremely strict. I do not play games with my money. Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, follow rule number one, Warren Buffett. So my plan is holding Bitcoin. Okay. I'm not going to be, and my point is I'm not going to be lending from it. It's like legacy for me. If I choose to, I will. I have access to that. So if I need cash to go buy an asset, I can go in there, very quickly, no credit check. I can go. That's called DeFi. Okay. On my alternative coins, I'll be pulling as it goes up. 50% is going to be held forever, just like the Bitcoin. I'll be pulling 50% down the risk pyramid. I use cash value life insurance. I'll be max funding the rest of my policies. Be getting a little bit more silver. We're going to be getting into more real estate. And then I'm using the ETF dividend strategy to create cash flow and then de-risking back into Bitcoin and XRP, because that's what I believe in. Very important. And the reason why I share with you what I'm doing is because you have to create your own plan. Okay. I put blinders on. I stay out of other men and women's business. I do not let people sway my plan. And it's helped me so much to stay calm. Because if you're constantly jumping into cryptos, out of crypto, you're going to get wrecked. It's create the plan, stick with it, go long term, build a storehouse when everything is plentiful. This year, it's been crazy since the back end of 2024. But we're not buying Lambos and Ferraris and stuff. We are securing that family, locking it in, securing the family, locking it in, creating some cash generating assets. And until my whole debts and non-negotiables are paid for by assets, I'm not buying those things that I want. There's no better high for a man. And if you guys know my past, I wrecked my life 18 years ago. attempted suicide on December 18th, 2006, due to a massive opiate addiction. I've had a huge transformation in my life. There's no high that I've ever experienced than being a man, stepping back and looking back and seeing my whole ecosystem taken care of and putting myself last. By putting myself last, it makes me first. It is the greatest high you've ever experienced in your life. So I'm speaking to men's hearts specifically right now, or the head of the household. I think the number one thing we should be doing is humility. For example, the Edward verifies. I'm very humbled by that. Thank you. And I wanted to state it correctly on what I mean by that. So thank you for that. Number 2 is stick to your plan. Number 3 is make sure you have principles and don't let anybody sway you out of that plan. So I hope this information helps. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Just want to make it very clear. I do not invest people's crypto. We do not have a trading platform. Those are all scam accounts. Anybody in the space that has any influence, they use our likeness and image. I will never proactively DM you. I will never ask about your crypto. You'll never send any of my team members money directly, and we do not invest people's crypto. Those are scams. QFS accounts are a scam. Very important to understand. Okay. So please don't send your money or crypto to anybody. What I have for you is resources in my bio or in this description of this video or in my social media platform. Just click the link. The first thing you'll see is what's called a needs assessment. The needs assessment is I have team members in all 50 states and Canada. I get tons of messages daily around how I use cash value life insurance. So I protect my family with term, and I use cash value life insurance, and I bank on myself. What I do may not work for you. So we do a free consultation, a free needs assessment, so my team can find out what your plans are and they can do a retirement strategy for you. And that's specifically around protecting your family with insurance, annuities. If you have any old money in a 401k, things like that, we can help you look at those. Okay. That's a free consultation. We do not get paid by the client. So you'll never send my team member money. They will text you, call you, email you. On the other side, you'll see Coach JV Academy or the 120-day challenge, the Warrior Academy. We've helped 10,000 people worldwide get their shit together. Put your blinders on, community, live calls, market calls, education, and support so that we can rise together and lock arm in arm. I hope to see you on the inside. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Love you guys.